yesterday on a beautiful Chamber of Commerce October day. Maybe not even Chamber of Commerce, maybe too warm for this time of year. But the whiteout looked great. The uniforms looked great with an asterisk. I still want the matching, either commit to the white stripe, which is on the helmet, on your shoulders and your pants, or put the yellow on the white helmet. Like, put the yellow stripe down the middle. I got to get that to match. I don't think this is the last we're going to see of these whiteout uniforms. Do you, Butchie?
No, I don't.
I think it was enough of a hit that it's going to come back for sure. Now, let's hope it doesn't slide down the hill into the alt white, all camo white, the sniper ghillie suit combination with the chrome face masks. We got to stay somewhat grounded in this franchise's conservative roots.
I would agree with that.
That said, Wayne Larrivee joins us now. You heard his calls. He is brought to us, as always, on Mondays and Fridays by Steam Fitters, Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org and by National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. Wayne, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Morning, guys. Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Did you get your winter whiteout gear from the Packer Pro Shop? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, my God. Okay, we're going to fix that. We're going to rectify that. How did you like the look for the first time ever, white shells?
I liked it. I really did. I'm not big on the helmet, but the players love the helmet. And But I thought it was great. The green and gold trim, the green numbers were easy to see, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, it's all that matters. There's so much good to pick through in this game. There's a few concerning things, but let me just start by asking you, what do you think is the big headline, the big story coming out of this game, this exciting last-second win by the Packers?
One of two things. Obviously, the kicker hitting the clutch field goal 45 yards and had to do it twice. Certainly the hold by Daniel Whelan. But you know what, guys? I honestly think the defense came to the fore in this game and is a big reason why they won the game. Think about this now. Houston, average field position to start a drive, the Houston 41-yard line. Green Bay, average field position to start a drive, the Packers 22, which means, folks, that Houston played on a field that was almost 20 yards shorter than the Packers played on. Furthermore, the Packers committed 3 turnovers in this game. Understand that. And they had no takeaways. The number one takeaway team of the league had no takeaways and somehow win the football game. Those things, when those things are in arrears, you almost always lose. And when they're in arrears like that, you usually get blown out. The Packers won the game.
I'd love to see the actual splits of -3 games, meaning what's the winning percentage for teams that are -3 in the turnover column? It's got to be less than 10%. Got to be.
Easily.
That's way down there. And I didn't know about the field position, too. That's also amazing. They were working with a short field on average. Average starting position at the 40. Incredible. I think the defense, to me, it's C.J. Stroud was 10 for 21 and 84 yards.
86.
Whatever. 86 yards. 10 for 21 for 86. He didn't have time to think. Hafley's defenses were incredible. They were myriad. They were disguised well. They were aggressive. Awesome defense.
Now think about this, guys. He had a 58.8 passer rating without throwing an interception.
Yeah.
Right.
Without throwing an interception, which means that defense defended the pass real well. Stephon Diggs is still a number one receiver, okay? Nico Collins, and I told you this last week, is the best receiver in football, in my opinion. He didn't play. I get it, okay? Stephon Diggs is still a legit number one receiver. He had 7 targets, 5 catches, 23 yards. 17 of them came on 1 catch, which means his other 4 catches, he got 6 yards combined? So, I mean, they did a heck of a job defensively in this game.
All right. So, Wayne, we talked about some positives there. Let's just talk about some negatives real quick. And I hate being the person to bring it up, but Rich Bisaccia.
Why are you going right to the
No, because I'm going there because special teams was a struggle. Like, let's be honest. And Rich Bisaccia is one of the highest paid. I think he is the highest paid special team coordinator. And so far, that
don't
this
count
year,
other people's money.
I'm not counting his money, but hey, Hey, the Packers made an investment in him.
He's a well-respected special teams coach around the league.
Okay, well, we've been through how many kickers? We've been through how many? And I mean, I saw Jaden Reed field the ball at the 2-yard line. I saw a fumble. I mean, when I'm talking about special teams,
are you saying
tell me if I'm wrong.
Coaching this? I'm certainly Bisaccia is not coaching these mistakes.
Well, then why are the players doing it? I guess Wayne. I'm going to just open this up. What do you see? What do you see from this Rich Bisaccia coach special teams unit?
There were a couple of mistakes out there yesterday. Certainly, Jaden Reed fielding that football there, and the other one was where wasn't it Nixon who made a last-second decision to just let the ball hit, and everybody was thrown off, and the ball hit a Packer, and so those are some chaotic situations that believe me, Rich does not coach those things into the game plan at all. But they, and again, the kicking situation, the kicker, it's Rich has input into who's the kicker, but obviously the Packers have struggled to find the right kicker over the last year plus, and now they've got Brandon McManus, a veteran in there who coolly kicked that 45-yard field goal to win the game. Daniel Whelan was outstanding yesterday, earned a game ball, and not just for his punts, which were tremendous, because the Packers were backed up a lot in that game, but the hold he made on the game-winning field goal. The first one, the operation was perfect, and D'Amico Ryans got a timeout called just in the nick of time. The second one, that snap was low, and Whelan made a heck of a play to rescue it and put it on the tee, put it up and allow McManus to kick that through the uprights. So, a lot of mixed bag there in these special teams, no doubt about it.
And that's, I guess, my thing. I'm not saying it's Rich's fault, but in the end, you're the coach. When guys make plays that are not smart plays, it does come back on the coach. That's just the way coaching works. And am I wrong? Hear you. Right?
No, you're not wrong. I just don't want to hear it from you today.
That's fair.
Bask in this
but I see this at the 6 o'clock hour too. What makes me excited is this team has played really well, but there's still a lot of area for improvement and for growth. And I think that's the exciting thing. You can't be playing your best football October 20th. You got to, we've seen that. Like, you have to find ways to continue to get better. And there is still a lot of room for improvement. Am I correct in saying that, Wayne?
Yeah, no. Like I said, I don't hold Richie responsible for some of the decisions those players made. That's on them. But I will say this about the Packers, and I think you're exactly right, Brian. If you're a finished product now, I almost would hate to be the Minnesota Vikings as well as they've played. There's no way they're going to play that way in January when they really want to play that way. I just don't see it. The Packers are a team that's evolving. I think they made a step in the right direction. Czabe, you started to make a great point. These games in October don't clinch anything. They don't even clinch a good season. But you need these games, especially home games like this against Arizona and even a good Houston team that was banged up defensively, but a good Houston team. You need these wins at home so that you have an opportunity to make December and January mean something. And that's why this little homestand was so important. I was hoping they'd get at least a split, and they won 2 games. And I'm very happy about the way they're evolving as a football team. Butchie, you're so right. They have a lot more room to grow. And I think Matt LaFleur, if he was here in my shoes, he'd be saying the same thing.
Yeah. Win now, get good later. Because you need to be good later. You just need to win right now. And they did. So all of Butchie's negativity aside.
No, not negativity.
We're all very happy.
I'm just being honest. I'll say this though. How about
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm just teasing.
I know. How about the emphasis?
Look,
Matt put on getting Josh his first receiving touchdown. You could tell. Tell that this team is still having fun, right?
Of course. They love each other. Correct. They're very tight. And the fact that Jacobs gave that ball up to Love because it was his 50th touchdown pass. Jordan Love's going to throw all kinds of milestone passes, 100th, 150th. Yep. He's going to pile them up to the sky. But that's how much Jacobs is a team guy. When I heard the stat, Wayne, and this was on the TV with Nance, I thought he misspoke. I thought he meant it's his first receiving touchdown as a Packer. And then they laid it out, and I go, wow.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
What was it, 212?
So why?
212.
Yeah.
And Matt said this on his podcast with Steinman. He goes, my one job that I told you is I'm going to get you a receiving touchdown at some point here. And you could tell the package that was been played after the game. They talked about how there was 3 or 4 different ways to get him a receiving touchdown in the package that they had, which I thought was pretty cool. Like you could tell there's an emphasis put on it.
And he made that was a little pass in traffic there. He had to make a couple of good moves to get into the end zone off of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you could say Jordan didn't exactly give him a piece of cake waltz into the end zone. Josh had to make that happen, and he did, and it was great. It was fun to see. It really was. But just an interesting ball game yesterday. I thought 2 very good football teams who will eventually be playoff teams and well coached, and I thought it was just a great ball game for the Packers to pull out.
Yeah, on the previous play to the Jacobs touchdown, their defensive ends, Settles, snuffed it out because he smelled it and he said, okay, we're going to shut it down. And LaFleur went right back to it. He went back to it with a slightly different version, and the rest is history. What I love about Jacobs, Wayne, is that I can't remember the last time I've seen an unproductive run out of him. Every run has some value to it, even if it's a couple of yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of the most remarkable things where I'm like, this guy just has productive, positive runs every time he touches the damn ball.
Yeah, I mean, he had 76 yards on 12 carries, so he's averaging over 6 yards a carry, had a long gain of 27. He's kind of a power contact, a runner to contact, but a power guy who can hit a home run. Mixon, very much the same kind of back. He was impressive yesterday, Joe Mixon.
He was.
At times, he controlled that football game. But, Josh, every week you look up, you say, well, did he do a whole lot? Yeah, and you look up, he's got 12 carries, 76 yards, caught his first touchdown pass. I mean, he's a very productive guy, and he's a guy you can hand the ball to, a number of times. You don't have to worry about, we got to save this guy for December. No, this guy's going to be there in December. You know what I mean? You can hand it, get him 20 touches a game. He'll be there in December, I guarantee it.
Right. I think he's the type of back that splits the difference stylistically between Jones and Dillon last year. He's kind of sits in the middle of that, which is a good spot to be in. And Emmanuel Wilson still making plays whenever he gets touches and making guys miss whenever he's got the football.
Wayne, since we're talking about running backs, any update on Lloyd and what the thought process is there since you're around? I know where they're at, but there's a lot of talk about him ended up on the IR. Any update?
Hamstring, right?
Yeah. I think he's getting close, guys, from what I can tell. And we should see him maybe it'll be interesting to see this week where he's at, if he actually comes back to practice, that type of thing. But I saw him at practice the other day. It appears to me he's getting close, and they're in no hurry because they're getting production from the running back spot, Wilson in particular. But I think that's going to be an intriguing addition when he is ready to go. But they want him 100%. They don't want him coming back at 80%, re-injuring that hamstring.
Yeah. All right. And then right now, it's just a pace number, so don't freak out. But Jordan Love is on pace for 46 touchdowns. Ooh. And 26 interceptions.
And I'm the negative guy, Wayne. And I'm the negative guy.
I know.
I said that's a pace number. Not a prophecy. It's not written in stone. It's just a pace number right now. Jordan Love has thrown multiple TDs in each of his last 9 games, third longest streak in team history behind Rodgers, who had a 13-game heater of multiple touchdown passing games, and Brett Favre, who had a 12-game heater. So that is in range right now.
The best thing about yesterday and Jordan's performance was that last drive. He kind of got the Packers, no timeouts, minute 34 to go, I believe it was, when they took over. And he just kind of calmly moved them into range. And all of a sudden, you knew with a veteran kicker like McManus, who's kicked 50-yard plus field goals, that they would have an opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, and a big scare early with a hole shot over the middle that got deflected and nearly picked. It takes some real fortitude as a quarterback to say, okay, you didn't get that one, but I'm coming right back at you.
Yeah.
I love this guy. All right, very good. Wayne, as always, great calls yesterday with you and Larry and Kuhn. Great to have you on the team, and we look forward to talking to you on Friday.
Talk to you on Friday, guys. Have a good week.
There you go. Wayne Larrivee, your longtime voice of every time.
NAIA
Where's he coach
school,
at?
probably.
Yeah,
Where's he
NAIA.
coach at?
Or the Raiders. I don't know. One of the two.
It's
I'll have
about
to check
the
it
same.
out. Coming up, Mike Keller joins us now. You'll hear him in full today, noon to 3 on the Mike Keller Show. When you win, Mike, you can nitpick things like Lambeau leap rules for opposing players and whether you're allowed to push them off the ledge or shove them off the ledge, or what do you have to do? We get to argue about how we should field punts, whether or not Jaden Reed should even be back there in the first place because he's such a valuable offensive player for us. And then you can have me on Cork takes like I wouldn't return any punts. It's a sucker's move. So there you go. That's what you do when you win.
Just said that, Mike.
He did.
Like,
I heard it.
That just can't
Yeah,
so you're saying what would happen is every punt would roll forward and you'd lose yard after yard after yard.
It would be ridiculous.
It would be one of the dumbest things. Matter of fact, that play was one of the dumbest things.
Because punts always roll forward?
No, they don't always roll forward, but many of them do. And that field position battle that you would lose dramatically
every game
is a big deal.
How many punts are there on average in a game? 4? 3 or 4.
Sure.
Yeah,
I bet average.
In that vicinity.
There's games where some games, unless you're Iowa, right? Live, laugh, punt, as they say in Iowa. A lot of bad. See, like on the turnover on the punt, that was a case of Keyshawn Nixon, he was supposed to step into the fire and field it because that's what they were assuming.
It was all on Keyshawn. He made a bad decision, and then Jaden Reed made a bad decision, trail him one back that he caught going into.
Why? Okay, so why are so many bad decisions being made on the special teams group?
They're human.
Yeah, I would say that. I know that. I heard you bring up the Bisaccia deal. Certainly, that's not being coached. Sometimes players lose their discipline, regardless of the coaching. So
you have standards. If you're a coach, you have standards, and players have to meet those standards.
All right, Bo.
I mean, he did just go into the Hall of Fame, correct?
Yep, correct.
He did just couple Final Fours, couple Big Ten. I mean, I like standards.
Mike Keller, I did not have on my bingo card this morning. Butchie with a bloodlust for a coach's scalp after a win. Yeah. But here we are. Yeah. This is where
if you're okay
bingo,
with that
B16.
performance by the special teams, then that's fine.
Who's okay?
Listen,
like that. I mean, that would be the argument. I don't know that anybody is walking to the podium when it's all said and done and saying we're okay with how we managed the punt game today when we were on punt.
Yeah, and I'm not saying fire him. I'm just saying I think.
You are.
No, those words never came out of my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't say the words came. I'm saying you're effectively saying fire him.
I'm saying I think the standards of the special and then my next thing that I said was I still think there's a lot of room for improvement for this Green Bay team, and I think that's an exciting part. The special teams area, there's a lot of room for improvement still.
Okay,
that's all.
Okay, you counting his money, highest paid special teams coach.
Yeah.
All that leads up to your implication that you want him out.
No, by the way,
if I wanted him out, I'd say I'd want him out, Zay.
Last week,
we've done this show long enough.
What do you want him to do then, Coach Harder?
Return, by the way.
Yell more? What do you want, Butchie?
I want him to have standards. I want him to have expectations.
Maybe he does.
Well, then why are they not being met? And then if that's the case, coaching is getting your players to meet those standards.
A week ago, they win the game because of punt return. Because that return by Keyshawn Nixon flipped the game.
Yep.
It helped.
So, and yesterday, I mean, you're looking at one element. What they did yesterday on
punting was very good. I agree.
Was ridiculously good. Yep. What they did on extra points and field goal execution was fantastic. So again, sometimes we cherry pick, right? We see the most negative and go, "Hey, when are they going to fix this?" Well, in that fix, that checkbox, if there are boxes there in special teams, if there were 5 boxes yesterday, you're checking the one negative and focusing in on that. And I get it. You want to fix
but
it.
I think that's what every good coach does.
Correct. But
I mean, there's never a coach that's satisfied, Mike.
Would you agree, though, that those were individual moments in which a player got lost and lost their discipline?
Yes.
My counter would be that's not drilled nearly enough so that they have the discipline not to do that.
These are full-time. And, by the way, they don't have
the luxury
of having just a return guy. These are full-time position players who are then part of that. How much more are you going to drill? But again, we're spending 5.5 minutes on this after one of the coolest wins of the year.
And it was. And I mean, we don't need to spend more time with it. To me, it's an area of improvement that still needs to happen. Yep. I expect better results there. That's all.
Yeah, and you want the
All
coach fired. Other than that, we're all good.
All right.
So that's how experienced radio hosts do this stuff, huh? They just put words in people's mouths. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, well, you're
How about
catching on.
how about the big arc of the game yesterday, which was Jordan Love? Yes, he's awesome, but he is prone to throwing some interceptions. I mentioned the pace numbers. He's on pace for 26 INTs this year.
Yeah.
My poll question in the morning is, what's your comfort level? A, literally not an issue. B, I'm comfortable with it. C, a growing unease. Or D, a legit problem already. Where does Mike Heller fall on that continuum?
Yeah, B. What was the specific? I voted, but I don't.
I'm comfortable with it. You're comfortable with his current risk taking.
Yeah, I mean, post game we asked Matt LaFleur about it, and he said you want to be careful. You don't want to coach the risk out of it. Sometimes there is a price of doing business. Last 17 games. Now that's a full season. This isn't an on pace number. Last 12 of last year and the first 5 of this year, he's 39-13. He is that mix. He is not going to be as TD to interception ratioed as Aaron Rodgers, but I thought many times, especially in the back 5 or 6 years in Green Bay, that Rodgers was so against the idea of the possibility of an interception that he threw the ball to the ground or threw the ball to the sideline out of bounds on purpose without the risk taking. Yeah, we'd like to see those numbers now. He's 15-8 this year. So he's tied for the league in interceptions. By the way, you know who he's tied with? Patrick Mahomes.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, he's tied for the lead in touchdowns with Baker Mayfield. So it's maybe in between a growing unease and I'm okay with it. Certainly you want fewer of them, but I don't want to legislate out his ability to make certain throws or desire to make certain throws, because some might have not thrown that first ball to Tucker Kraft in the end zone, the touchdown. The ball on the goal line last week that Romeo Doubs makes the adjustment on, some might not have thrown that. The week before, Jaden Reed with 3 defenders there, some would have said you can't throw that. All 3 of those worked pretty dang good.
Yeah, there was the whole throw to Wicks on 4th down the week before as well. Some outrageous throws.
Yeah.
And you go back to last year, the throw he made against the Ravens was maybe the sickest throw he's ever made. This is what he does. I would never want to coach that out of him.
Yeah.
I would say we're gonna take that risk taking until it really burns us badly, or until you're throwing it to guys that you literally don't see.
Yeah,
and are just grabbing it.
LaFleur hit that pretty well yesterday off of a question from Polzine, making note for Czabe's show tomorrow to ask Polzine about a question and answer with Matt LaFleur in the postgame yesterday.
Do I need to write that down?
Okay, I'll write that down. Polzine.
Do you think any of the 3 of us are going to write that down?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
writing it down
Luddy
right
just
now.
did, and Czabe faked like he had a pen in his hand. So
Right. Here you go. I'm going to write
you
it down.
You beat me to it. You can just do it.
Okay. All right. What does that note say right there for tomorrow?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That means
Popeyes.
reminder, where am I going to lunch today?
Chick-fil-A. God, that sounds good.
good job.
Okay. So
Wait, what are we supposed to ask him?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Where to go to Chick-fil-A.
Something about Jordan Love and risk taking. Look, here's where I'm comfortable with. Love is seeing all the risks that he is taking, and I'm okay with that. It's the quarterbacks who don't even see the dumb throws they're making until the other team has it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you go, oh my God. Andy Dalton yesterday for the Panthers threw the dumbest pick six ever.
Terrible.
And Czabe, some will point out in that last drive, the game-winning field goal drive, the very first throw had a chance to be picked. But I would also argue that is a hell of a play by the linebacker in deep drop to get up and get a fingertip on it.
43. 43 had a hell of a game for the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's a win. I love it. I love that this team defensively has a coordinator who is on his game. Like the upgrade from Joe Barry to Jeff Hafley is a nuclear leap. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah, without question. I mean, what they did yesterday to C.J. Stroud was ridiculously cool. And I say that, and I have Stroud in my fantasy. I mean, he did nothing.
So did I.
Nothing.
I'm out in guillotine thanks to the Packers.
Yeah, you mentioned
defense.
that during the game, Mike.
55 net yards in passing. I mean, with the sack adjusted passing yards, 55 yards. I mean,
Right.
that's Iowa-esque numbers.
Yeah.
In their
So
program.
and the willingness by LaFleur to commit to running the ball
Yeah.
when that's what the game flow calls for. This team is showing it can win with defense and running, which supposedly was out of vogue in today's NFL. Pass, 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 pass all the time.
Yeah.
So I love that.
So
I love so much about this team. I love the youth that's coming up, the green shoots of grass with this current draft class, with guys like Cooper and Bullard and Williams. I mean, I'm having a hell of a time this year. I don't have any real big complaints. Do you, Mike Heller?
I don't. I think the team. I think they're 1-1A in the NFC North. However, last Monday you asked about a trap game as it related to Wisconsin, and I didn't specifically see that. But you could certainly apply the definition of a trap game with Green Bay at Jacksonville this coming Sunday. Yes.
Okay. So
100%.
I was of course ripped for saying the Badgers can't have a trap game because they're not good enough to have a trap game.
Yeah,
and I'll take that. Was I right?
Well, if that's what your line was, they're not good enough to have a trap game.
Oh,
that's
no,
the right answer.
No, that was mine.
No.
Czabe said it was a trap game.
You,
and
I said
you
it
can't have a
could.
trap.
I said it could. I think I said it could be. People were quick to dunk on me saying they can't have a trap game when they're not that good. Okay, fine.
And I would also
question.
I mean, and you weren't thinking of it, but last year Northwestern coming in and doing what they did Wisconsin took away the trap because they had payback.
Revenge.
Sure.
Yes, they had
But
Lakeshore
Green Bay at
revenge in
Jacksonville,
play.
Green Bay at Jacksonville is 100% a trap game.
So you think pro trap games are real?
I think
pros?
they're real. Yes, I do.
Okay.
There was a lot of juice yesterday, right, Luddy? I mean, there was fighting going on the whole day, all of it. Diggs helped the Packers early in pregame by starting something.
And Igbari got into it at one point. I mean, it was chippy.
That helped. That helped.
Which is weird because they're such a rare, exotic order, natural rivalry. One of the oldest franchises in the league, one of the newest franchises. Different leagues entirely, no real significant playoff history. Well, there would be a playoff history because they had the Super Bowl, but there was seemingly no reason to have that kind of heat right there.
It was all Stephon
but there
Diggs
was.
And Jair. I mean, Jair is never not involved.
And you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we
but
talked about this Friday.
Helped.
I said one of the things that hasn't been talked about nearly enough is Diggs and now
Did you see after the game Diggs says, I'm never the larger person. I'm never going to let it go.
At least
he was also
I love
rumors
him.
that
at least he's self-aware.
Awesome.
I was gonna say rumors he was banging somebody that was pregnant or whatever. There was all that stuff that was out there. Oh, it's some rapper.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff. Send me links though. So yeah, I mean, look, Diggs is the guy.
The leaked version.
Diggs is the kind of guy, and there are players like this from time to time that I say you can have him. He's a you can have him player. I don't deny that he's good. I just wouldn't want him on my team for a variety of reasons. Yeah. Diggs is that guy to me. So I'm glad they have him. And
by the way, can I just put this into your ether and see if you agree with me on this? Major League Baseball's inflexibility right now bothers the crap out of me. That
in regard to scheduling games?
Yeah. That you're not going to play a World Series game until Saturday. They play Saturday?
Friday.
No, Friday night.
My goodness, you're going to
go before Rutgers USC at 11.
The whole
why
week
Friday
without playing?
I know.
Come on.
Well, I thought that I saw they had some flexibility this year to move up series, but I guess that was only in regard to the earlier rounds.
Yeah.
That the World Series apparently was locked into this schedule, no matter what.
But
now the dumbest thing ever.
Down to TV a little bit.
I'm sure it comes down to TV, but you do it better.
But Friday's a terrible TV night.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
They're going to go head to head with big college football on Friday, Saturday. Obviously, avoid the NFL on Sunday. But and the World Series, when they start it, it's good because they only get 2 off days. They go 2 off day, 3 off day, 2. Right? That part's good.
Mm-hmm.
But why the hell you're waiting this entire week to begin the World Series is ridiculous to me. It should begin on Wednesday.
Amen to that. Do you have any opinion on what happened in the Texas-Georgia game with the overturn?
With your replay.
Oh, my replay.
The Mike Heller instant replay.
Guys, aren't we almost out of time here?
No, let's go. Let's
I mean,
hear
the
your
song
replay.
goes for
We have to
I mean,
get-
look,
we
in
have more than
fairness,
one.
it wasn't
It's Czabe's
replay.
banger coming up,
If
so
you
we got
want, yeah.
more than enough time. trust
It
me.
wasn't replay that did it, Helen.
Right, correct. It was
Their
review on the
Satan
field.
spawn.
It was
The Satan child
bad
of
call.
replay.
It was a
Yeah.
bad call, and then they waited 5 minutes in the delay and then overturned a bad call. The right call ended up being made. It was not defensive pass interference.
So was justice done.
I hate the way it was done, but
Yeah.
it was more egregious in the WNBA finish than it was
brutal.
in Texas and Georgia.
You know, Butchie-san can weigh in on this because he played in Japan. But in Japan, there is a notion of it's not enough to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing the right way.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in business, you know?
Yeah.
And this was maybe the right call, but it was done in such a wrong
Correct.
way.
Yeah, agreed.
We can't have this anymore.
Look
you
at
know,
you and I agree.
there's got to
You
be.
can't. Did you
Yeah.
guys
Look at
just
you and I
did you guys just
agree.
become best friends?
No.
We are
Well,
going
maybe
to
there's a
Sunburn
chance.
Bowl together.
That'll be
I'm
Yes,
great.
looking
we
forward
are.
to that.
I was gonna say
Look at
Sunburn
that.
Bowl.
Best friends that way.
Maybe you guys could even go golfing together. Nobody bring their own alcohol, and you guys would be just fine.
I'm bringing my own SoCo minis to Mexico, and I'm bringing them to the golf course. And I'm sorry, to Jamaica, and I'm bringing them to the golf course in Jamaica. And nobody can stop me.
Well.
Nobody.
Good job. I won't stop.
All right. Today at noon, Mike Keller Show, full recap of all the weekend. I'm sorry we didn't talk Badgers. Great win down by the
Huge
lakefront. How
win.
was it? Real quick.
Sets up for
20
a hell of a
seconds.
game.
Yeah, what was that question?
20
we're supposed to
seconds.
ask?
How was the pop-up stadium?
Great views, terrible turf. They've done a good job trying to figure it out, but it's still the wrong thing. Planted the wrong
Okay.